Hi, my name is Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and motivational speaker. Today we are at Meaner's Ferry in Grand Teton National Park. Meaner's Ferry is a pretty unique place in Grand Teton National Park in that it's a little bit of a hidden cove. Because when people go through the park, usually they blow right past the turnoff to Chapel of Transfiguration. If they know about it, they'll turn in. I mean, tour buses show up, but if you don't know about it, it's really a unique place. But you check out the chapel, you go in, maybe you say a prayer, enjoy the view, and then come out, ring the bell, and boom, move on. Well, you've actually missed a really special part of the park because way back when, there was a guy called Meaner, M-E-A-N-O-R. I'll find his name for you here, and I'll show you the sign. But this guy actually ran a ferry across the river. And you might say, Aaron, what's the big deal about putting a ferry across the river? Can't you use a bridge? Well, remember, at one time, there was no bridge here. So how in the heck did you get across the Snake River? I mean, this river is pretty formidable. I don't know how far it is across, 150, 120, 150 feet. I mean, it's nothing you're gonna put your wagon in and go across. I mean, even swimming in the summer, kind of dangerous. I've been in the river in the winter, sloshing through and showing how you can dry off with snow. Check out my video of how to dry off with snow when you fall in the river. That's actually chilling, ha. But the original way to get across this thing is to use Meaner's Ferry. I'll show you the ferry in just a moment and the cable crossing and all that. But it's really a slick system. You didn't charge people very much. But when people came up like, hey, I want to cross, well, you need to pay. Well, I don't have money. Well, I guess you're swimming. If you want to use my ferry, boom. Apparently he was a bit of a surly character. So, Mr. Meaner, yeah, you paid your fee, you went across, and then it was no big deal. But this house behind here is a shop. He's got an ice house that he stored food. There's a well and water filter. I mean, this is actually a really interesting historical site, and it's definitely worth a stop. Local secret! That's right. Being a local and finding out local information, I have a secret for you. If you show up in summer when Meaner's Ferry and the cabin is open, and you show up early, they have warm, fresh-baked cookies available for people for free just to try in this place. They're so good. They're like a ginger snap. I mean, oh, yum! I miss them. I didn't get over here all summer. What a mistake. And you say, Aaron, you went all the way over to the ferry just for cookies? You betcha. Lots of love with those cookies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a couple sites around here. I'm just going to roll the camera around, show you how this place works, and experience and share the experience of why it's worth just popping over here, checking stuff out for half an hour. I know for your sign readers, oh, boring. But this is really pretty cool. So the very first thing here, I'll just hop off the camera for a moment and check out that exposure. Woo boy, let me fix that. This is a water filter. Now you might say that doesn't quite look like a Brita, but this thing was actually the water filter because what Meaner did, 1895, Bill Meaner dug a well next to the Snake River to filter muddy water during spring runoff. That's right. During the spring runoff, you cannot drink that water out of the Snake. I mean, it is muddy. Ugh. So, no bueno there. Pretty slick. And then we come over to his ice house, and you say, Aaron, this doesn't look like an ice house over here. Well, come on. You got to work with me here. This is back in 1895. So right behind me here is, let me loosen up the camera, is a Bill Meaner storehouse. So the sign says he safeguarded food from animals here, and he stored ice from the river and the local area because there's always ice and snow here. And he put it in this storehouse, and he used that to preserve his food in the summer. How the heck did they do that? Well, have you ever seen those big crazy ice tongs that you snag? Well, what people used to do is their refrigerator used to buy ice from the local ice delivery guy. Yeah, no kidding. And they would put it in their refrigerator, and as it melted down, it would keep the food cool and you bought the ice. But around here, there's no ice delivery guy. So what these people did is they had ice cut out, and he'd put, I don't know, I've never actually been in there, but usually what people did is they put the ice in a huge pack of sawdust. Yeah, that's right, sawdust. For some particular reason, sawdust is actually a very good insulator. I don't know why, just is. Nobody's gonna get and replace their down jacket with a sawdust jacket. But definitely, yeah, come on, laugh. It's hilarious. Yeah, sawdust jacket. But that actually works. So even though all throughout late spring through, like, I don't know, November, December, there's no ice or snow here. But Meaner would actually package up and saw up that ice, fill his storehouse with it, pack his food in there and put the sawdust in, and voila, he had ice all year. So just like at home with the kids where they're standing with the refrigerator open, yeah, close that sucker. Boy, you left this door open, you let his ice melt, he wouldn't just yell at you, he'd probably fix you right up. So Meaner, he was a bit of a character. So you didn't want to mess with him too much. Okay, let's stabilize this a bit. Let's come over to the cable system where Meaner actually took people across on his ferry. Pretty fun, right? Okay, now I think this cable has been since replaced. Let me get the composition here much better. Yeah, there you go. Cool. So I'll kind of duck down. But you can see this cable system here, and this thing's thick. I mean, that's like, it's not quite the thickness of my wrist, but maybe a child's wrist. I mean, that thing's crazy thick, and it goes all the way across the river. And that's how Meaner used his ferry to get people across. So you might say, oh, Aaron, what does a ferry look like? Yeah, good question. Guess what? There's a ferry! So let me take you over to Meaner's ferry and show you what this thing was like and how it all operated and hooked on and pulled the cable over. Let me flip the camera around here real quick. And you can see just in this view, and that's the thing I like about this part of the year, is that the fall is so beautiful here. It's super calm. The place isn't jammed with tourists. If you want to come to the Grand Teton area in any time of the year, fall is the best. It's cool, you get a taste of the crispness without the monstrous crowds. It's a way better way to go. Let's see, there's a joke sign here, right here. It's store owner Bill Meaner, prone to swearing and a surly attitude, ran this general store in the 1900s. Meaner and his brother Holiday painted the building with a whitewash from Holiday's lime kiln. Referring to Bill, Holiday was known to say, "My partner is mean, but I'm meaner." Okay, come on, that's Park Service humor. You got to work with me here. Yeah, apparently he was quite the crank. So why don't we cruise around? Whoa! Cruise around this guy here. And because I'm on a tripod, I can show you what this really looks like. So this is the actual ferry that Meaner used to cross the river. Now it says ferry closed, don't board without a ranger present, and I'm not going to go do that. But you can look in here and check this thing out. And yes, this thing actually does float. It's made of wood. You see the cable system, and let me flip this around so you can actually get a view of what it's like to be on deck up there. Pretty cool. And you can see the steering and winching mechanism used. There you go. Just walk you around the back, and hey, check it out, Mr. Meaner. He did not have bilge pumps, solar powered bilge pumps, but the Park Service kind of gets sick of having to repair things, so they put a solar panel on this, and you got a bilge pump there, pumps the water out. So these things are actually still waterproof. It's pretty cool. Let me toss you up here, show you what it's like to be on deck. This isn't quite GoPro vision, but I'm sure you could work with it here. Just work with me, people. Work with me. There you go. So it's actually pretty fun. check out some of the old history stuff. Now there's another secret thing over here. That's right, more secrets. It's not really secret because you can just look and see it. But if you've never been to this park before and didn't know anything about it, it's a secret. So, am I revealing and ruining things? No, because a lot of people don't come over here. Apparently they've got some construction going, so there's crash netting, but danger, hard hat area, do not enter. We have the buildings falling apart. And you might say, oh, Aaron, that's pretty darn boring, dude. You got to work on your local secret. Well, come on over here. And we won't go past the crash netting because we don't get busted. But check these puppies out. Yeah. Old wagons in there. So you can still look around. You can't get in, but don't worry about that. It's no big deal. It looks like the bar. Let me zoom in here for you. That looks like the Bar BC Ranch. And there, where is it? Ooh, yeah, there you go. And there's the JY Ranch mark. And you can see in the back there some of the old Conestoga wagons. Let me lower the tripod and look back in there. And you can actually see one of the old Conestoga wagons. Way back when, like Oregon Trail style. So there's really a lot of neat stuff to see around here. Let me zoom back out and I'll hop on camera. There we go. So this is actually pretty cool. And you can walk around the back, and eventually the construction crash netting will be gone. That way you can get back in there and check it out. But yeah, check this out. Oh, that's really cool. So you can see what an old wagon looks like. Some of the old ironwork and whatnot. I don't know why it's under construction, but whatever. Park has to keep everything repaired and keep it safe, and they really do a good job of trying to maintain the history. Some people criticize them, but imagine working at a job where everybody believed they could do better than you, and they tell you every day. Whew. Yeah, I got to commend the park folks. I honestly don't know how they can handle that, but they've got better skill than I do. So we'll call that as good about showing you what the Miner Ferry is like. And this is in Grand Teton National Park. And just as you go through the south entrance of the park, you'll see a sign that says Chapel Transfiguration, I think Miner's Ferry on there. And you just cruise through, park in the parking lot, just walk into this trail towards the river, and voila, there you go. Ooh, one other thing. Dang, I totally forgot. Sorry. Ah, what a terrible host I am. There is actually a fishing spot here. Now, granted, there's not much of a fishing hole here because typically fly fishing, you want to find a slow spot in the river and whatnot, but I've seen guys and gals out here fishing. And check it out, total river access. So if you're a fly fisherman, you love to cast a fly out, you can get right down to the water. You get your waders on, or me, I use a Japanese tenkara rig, so I only cast either 12 or 24 feet depending on what I got going. So I don't really need that, but you know, it's pretty nice. And they've got these little donations to help support the ferry system. And then last thing I think I'll show you here. Yeah, check it out. You can fish right from there. Just use a spinner. No problem. And then the bridge in the park. But this sign actually explains how he used it. So it wasn't like a real cable across ferry. He actually used the river to push the boat the whole time. And then he begins moving across, and there's a little traveler thing. And the steel cable moves across, and that's how the ferry goes across. And that's why it actually kind of looks weird. You actually enter one side and then come off the other. So the ferry actually never went straight across. And check it out, Bill Miner here. Recognize the ideal crossing point at the Snake here. So it's actually totally different. Now, the ferry is apparently a replica. It's not the original because that was like 120 years ago. Do you think that's really going to be around? No, definitely not. But this design of ferry is really fascinating. Instead of just pooping across there, it actually floated sideways and docked on either side. So it's actually a pretty trick setup. Misdemeanor, kind of smart. A little surly, but who cares? So there we go. Get the Meaner's Ferry and the cable in the background there somehow. Cool. Alrighty. I hope you enjoyed this video. A little experience of Meaner's Ferry in Grand Teton National Park. My name is Aaron Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer motivational speaker. Please like and comment on my video and help me out by subscribing to my channel. Thank you.